Hello you guys, it's Katie and welcome back to another video. In today's video I have tips for selling at markets as a crocheter, part 2 to share with you guys. So I have done this video once before, so if you haven't already watched that, definitely go watch that. As well as I have a ton of other business videos, like I also have one on how to get started selling at markets as a crocheter, so if you've never sold at markets in general, that's a great one to check out. I also have videos on setting up at my own markets and the market prep, so those are also great to check out, as well as I have business videos in general, like how to get started selling your items, how to price your items, all of that kind of stuff. So pretty much anything you could have a question on, I've probably covered it in a video, so I will link my crochet market playlist below for you guys, as well as just some other business videos that I think you might find helpful. So with that, we're just going to get started in today's video. Do keep in mind that because this is a part 2, this is going to be kind of feeding off of what I said in the first video. So I would definitely check out the first video if you haven't already. I will link that as the first video in the description box below. And then this is the part 2. So you still could watch this without watching the first one, but I would recommend watching the first one either before or after this video. Alright you guys, so first thing that I have written down is in the last video I mentioned that you should be making items that are trendy and thinking about where you're selling. Maybe make items that have to do with your specific area. If you have like a sports team or something that's really popular, you could make items that people would buy that have to do with that, like a mascot or something. But something that I didn't mention is also trying to focus on the audience that will be at the event you're selling at. So once you have found an event to sell at, you want to either scope it out and see what the type of people are that come to that specific event. Try to figure out if it's mostly kids, try to figure out if it's mostly adults, try to figure out if it's teenagers or a big mix of everybody, and in general come up with ideas to make based off of that. So for example, the event that I have been selling at every month now is kind of a mix of everybody, but a lot of people do come there with their kids or their grandkids, so I do try to focus heavily on items that kids will like. So just stereotypically, things that kids like is like unicorns, cats, dogs, dinosaurs, stuff like that is what I've gotten requests for. If I didn't have those items, if they already sold, or in general I didn't make those items. And in general, they're just items that tend to sell good because of kids being around. And there's also some teenagers. And the market I used to go to is also a lot of teenagers and like young adults. So a lot of them would buy like mushrooms and frogs I found were best sellers, and pretty much any item honestly still that the kids buy, but they don't really want like cutesy, like maybe unicorns and stuff like that are more geared towards kids. Some of the more like mushrooms and stuff like that they're just cute but not like super like little kid-ish, is more for like the teen, young adult crowd. And then when it comes to adults, at least as far as selling plushies, you are probably just looking for them to buy for their kids pretty much. Or if you are looking to sell other items that aren't just plushies, then you could also think about blankets and think about hats and headbands and keychains and scarves and all kinds of things like that that like adults would actually buy. And any age group could still buy those things too. So in general, you kind of just have to contemplate what type of people are going to be at this market and try to have a variety for each age group if you think it's going to be a big group of like everybody, or try to have specifically like, okay, this is a kids event where there's going to be like a playground and maybe they have like a bounce house or something like that. If it's an event like that, then you definitely want to focus on those items that are more geared towards kids. If it's an event that's like a music festival or something, that's probably going to be teens and young adults. So you want to focus on the items like mushrooms and frogs and all that kind of stuff, like I was saying, that sells really well in that age group. So again, just having a variety is always best, but it's also something to kind of think about, is what type of people are going to be at that event specifically. So my next thing is having a lot of items that are on the lower end of pricing. So for me, my $10 to $20 items are always my best seller. Every single time, they are always the best sellers. I do still bring items that are more than like 30, even upwards of like 50, sometimes $70 will sell too, but not nearly as often as the $10, $15, $20 items. And that's just because people are on a budget. Or if you are at an event where people are bringing their kids and they have multiple kids, they'll say, okay, you can each have a $10 item. If they have 3 kids, that already adds up to $30. Versus if they only have 1 kid, maybe they'll let them get one $30 item. So in general, that's also something that you want to think about. If you've seen my market breakdown videos, then you know that I do bins of a lot of those smaller $10, $15, $20 items. And I have sold out of baby turtles last time. I also sold out of opossums last time. The opossums are $10, the baby turtles are $15. I also sell well with the mushrooms, those are $15. So anyways, in general, the smaller items are always going to sell at a much higher rate because in general, people are on a budget. Also something to take into consideration and make sure you have a lot of those. So when it comes to those $10, $15, $20 items that you're gonna have multiple of, sometimes it's not always convenient to have all of them out on the table at once. Let's say you make like 12 mushrooms. It's not always realistic to have every single one of those mushrooms out on the table. You might just want to have like 3 in a row. That's fine if that's what you want to do, but still I would recommend bringing a bunch of them because I can almost guarantee you they will sell pretty well. So if you do have a smaller setup and you don't want to put them all out on the table at once, you can still leave them in your bin or box or whatever it is you brought the items to the market in, and just leave that under the table. And then once people start to buy them, let's say you sell 2 out of the 3 mushrooms within the first hour of the event, then you can put 2 more mushrooms back where those ones sold previously. So that's also just an idea for not having to have a super big display. You could technically have just 1 table and sell the same amount that I do with a big setup. You would just have to keep restocking items and keep bins under the table. Alright guys, my voice is already starting to sound weird because I filmed a few videos before this, so don't mind that. But anyways, my next thing is to have displays that draw the eye upward. Now the reason for this is customers are going to notice items that are at eye level way more often than they're going to notice items that are sitting on the table, right? So in general, if you can make like shelves or have crates or something like that that go upward, that is awesome for displaying. And that's something that I'm still working on within my markets, is getting display pieces that can go on the table well and work upward. If you guys saw my last market videos, I did have a setup for my crochet bags, which is something I added to markets recently, is little bags and purses. And I used a really short clothing rack that's meant to be like a little kid one, pretty much for like play clothes. I used that and placed that actually on top of the table so that that was at eye level for most people instead of being super short and people would have to look down at it. So that is something that you could do, especially if you sell crochet bags. That's a great idea. I also had a new honeycomb display that was for my bees, and that helped to where you could see all of them better than just being flat on the table. So lots of ideas for things like that to make your display go upward, and again, customers' eyes upward, things at eye level instead of just flat on the table. But I will say, for investing in your display items, I wouldn't recommend doing this at your first market. I would recommend doing this after you've done a couple markets and you actually have money to spend on your displays because you're now making money with your business. You don't need to go all out with your market displays when you're first starting. Make sure that you go ahead and do that after you have started making money from selling. That's just something as a tip to get you more sales I've found, is items being at eye level is best. And again, this kind of plays into what I was just saying, but once you have the money to invest back into your business and into your setup, go ahead and get some more unique display items that will kind of catch people's eye. So again, I had just mentioned my Honeycomb Display. I got it on Amazon. I have it linked in my previous market videos. And it's actually a cupcake display, but I got it for crochet bees to put in the honeycomb. And before I had that display at my previous market, I sold 1 bee. I think I had 6 bees total, and I sold 1. And they were just in a little bin that was sitting on the table. Which, putting them in the honeycomb display that was more at eye level, as well as it was a more unique display, I sold all but 3. I think I had 8 and I sold all but 3. And the 3 I didn't sell were ones that were actually like kind of weird colors. They weren't just regular yellow and black. I did sell all of my regular yellow and black ones. And for the next market, I'm going to do pretty much all regular bee colors, because for me, I found that doesn't really sell for the other colors. But anyways, that's beside the point. In general, I've just found that having the display items that are more unique will catch people's eye, and having them that are at eye level for customers is also the best idea. Some other sorts of unique display ideas that I have used for plushies is a little fish bowl for the crochet fish. I've also used a frying pan for my eggs. This is something I want to invest in, but I haven't yet, is a pickle jar for crochet pickles. I think that would be so cute. I also have a little claw machine, which is something that I also put up a little bit higher so it's more at eye level. And it's also something that people are like, that is such a great idea. Even if they don't play it, they want to come into my booth just to see the claw machine because they think it's adorable. So all of that kind of stuff, having more unique things that is going to make your booth stand out compared to other vendors, and just in general stand out because it's unique, is great ideas. Alright, you guys, next is to have cohesive branding. Now you guys probably know with my business that white and the pinkish color is my branding. I even use that for my thumbnails here on YouTube and everything, so you probably know that just from clicking on this video. But in general, having it look cohesive, even on my YouTube channel, you can tell, oh, that video is by Katie because it has the same font, it has the same colors for every single thumbnail, plus my face is on the thumbnail. But in general, if my face wasn't there, you'd even be able to tell that it's me because of the style of the thumbnail. So you also want it to be that way when you're setting up for your events. So if you're selling crochet plushies like me, your items aren't necessarily going to be cohesive because you have lots of bright colors with different like dinosaurs and unicorns and elephants and all kinds of animals, right? There's really no way to make that cohesive because, again, lots of different colors and bright things and just lots to look at going on as far as your products. But when it comes to your displays, you can definitely make them cohesive and make everything work together. If you guys haven't seen my displays, again, I recommend checking out my previous market videos for that. But my tablecloths are all white, which again, white is a part of my branding. The crates that I have painted my signature Katie Bean Creative pink color, so that also ties in. For all of my business cards, they are white with the Katie Bean Creative pink color with all of the words, and they're also all the same font and everything. Again, all of my signs, white with the pink wording. All of my bins that I display items in are white, or the little tiered shelves that I have are white. All of that kind of stuff just to tie everything together. So I definitely recommend that for a couple of reasons. First off, it is going to look so pleasing to the eyes for yourself and for your customers. If I am shopping at a market just as a customer, which I do quite often because I like to just go look around and shop from small businesses, but also I like to scope out where I might want to possibly sell in the future. So when I am a customer at these events, seeing a booth that is cohesive and everything looks like it goes together, it's all under different colors that are all within one branding, looks so nice, and I'm way more likely to go in and check out their stuff than if they just have a table without a tablecloth maybe, and they have like a million different colors. Again, with the crochet products it might be a little different with the color schemes, but they have like signs that have different colors, and they have business cards that are a different color, and their tablecloth is a different color, and all kinds of stuff that would just like confuse my brain, and I might not even want to go look in there. So just for the fact that it is aesthetically pleasing will also make more people want to come in, and again generate more sales, because the more people you have come into your booth, the more sales you're actually going to get. So in general, that is also a great thing, is cohesive branding. Now that's another thing that when you're first starting out, you should not really be worried about, is having everything be the same exact color and all of that kind of stuff. If you want to, then that's one thing. But like I said in my first market tips video, if you are just starting out, you should just be worried about like getting products, having a table, having a chair, having a tent if it's required, and that's pretty much it, right? Just the basics until you actually start making money at markets, and then you can actually go through with buying stuff for your next market. Buying like maybe one more display item in between each market, and then at some point you will have a great display that you are super proud of. So in general, just don't waste your money, because especially if it's only your first market, you're not going to even know whether you enjoy selling at markets or not. So you don't want to go through and buy a whole bunch of stuff for markets and then hate selling at markets and never want to do it again. So just also keep that in mind. Alright you guys, my last little tip here slash piece of advice is something that I wish I knew beforehand, which is just kind of obvious I think, but it isn't something that I really thought of until I was trying to load the car. And that is having as many items as you can that are actually collapsible or foldable, general items that don't take up a huge amount of space in the car or in your house when you're storing them and you're not actually at markets. So when you're packing your car, you have to bring a lot of stuff to markets. If a tent is required, you need to bring a tent. You also need to bring table and chairs if they don't already provide that for you. You need to bring your products, which is going to be a lot of space in your car as well. You also need to bring all the display items. You need to bring business cards. You need to bring your sign. You need to bring price tags. You need to bring all kinds of stuff. So in general, just having display items especially that are collapsible, because pretty much all tents and tables are going to be collapsible, but in general the display items that are collapsible is so super convenient. I have two 3-tiered shelves, one that's just like a regular shelf and one that is a rolling cart that don't collapse, and they take up so much room in the car. Versus recently, if you guys saw my come market shopping with me video where I actually went to a couple different stores and showed you guys some items that I thought would be good for selling at markets, I found some collapsible 4-tiered shelves at Walmart, and they're the most convenient thing ever. I cannot recommend them enough. So again, those are linked in my previous market videos if you want to check those out, and they just work out so well for having and storing. So yeah, I would definitely check those out if I were you, because they have worked out super well for me, and in general it is so nice to not have to take up so much room in the car. And I'm honestly kind of considering maybe for my markets down the line getting rid of the display items that aren't collapsible and only bringing items that are collapsible. That way I have more room in the car for actual product to bring to the markets instead of worrying about display items. Because personally, I don't know about you, but I would like to bring as many products as possible to every single market. That way, if it turns out that everything is really great and I'm selling a ton of stuff, then I can still put out more on the tables as the event continues, instead of there not being enough room in the car because of all my display items, and then I just decided not to bring those items and I could have sold those, right? So in general, that's just the way I look at it. So in general, if you are just starting out at markets, definitely heavily consider if the item is something you can collapse or if it's something that can be folded up before you purchase, because like I said, it is a pain to have items that take up a ton of room in the car. And in your house too, because you have to have somewhere to store them in your house when you're not at markets. Alright you guys, that is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you found these tips helpful. If you guys did enjoy today's video, please do give it a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought, if these were tips that maybe you've heard before or you haven't heard them before, or which tips you found the most helpful. All of that kind of stuff I would love to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. Or in general, if you've done markets before and there's anything you would like to add as far as tips that I either didn't mention in this video or that you would like to add on to something I already said, then definitely leave that in the comments below for myself and for other people that are looking to sell at markets. And now if you guys did enjoy today's video, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and turn on the post notification bell, that way you know every single time I upload a brand new video, because I will have new market videos coming in late May, early June for my May market, as far as the day of the market vlog and the breakdown for selling at the market and what sold, best sellers, all of that like I always do, as well as I'll have a ton more market videos like this in the future. Like I want to do one video on the items that I sell and the patterns that are best sellers for me, and I have tons of other market video ideas like that. So if you are interested in any of those videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you'll know when those videos are out. And of course, liking, subscribing, and commenting on my videos really does help out my channel, so thank you in advance if you do any of those things. Now if you guys do want to see more from me, you can always check out more videos of mine, my blog, my Etsy shop, my Ribbler shop, all of my social medias, and my second channel. All of that is always included in the description box of every single video for you guys. So with all of that, thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I will see you guys here in the next one. Goodbye!